Don't forget to click that subscribe and bell icon to receive a notification each time I upload a new video. Hi everyone, it's Mike here and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So it's the third Saturday of October, which means it's time for a brand new mission inspiration over on our Facebook group. So this month, the prompt for October is recycle. So I'm going to turn you over to my overhead camera and show you what I'm going to create using the prompt. Okay, so I've gathered a few bits and pieces, old stuff. So this is my tag journal, which I've been doing the mid-month mini missions in all year so far, and I'm not going to stop now. So October's is also going to be done on a tag. So using the acrylic front cover as a template, I found a box which had been sent through the post to me with some stuff in. So I've ripped off the label. I've left a little bit of the label on, some of the packing tape. Obviously you've got a bit in the background, but you can see that it's corrugated cardboard. So that's what I'm going to be using for the base of my recycled tag today. So I'll just pop the journal to one side, the tag journal to one side, and I'm going to keep this bit as the back because I like that. So what I'm going to do is I've got some white gesso here, and I'm just going to put a thin splattering or a thin wipe of gesso, and I've got a brush with some water, so I'll just take that and I'll then just give it a bit of a swipe up and down. And I love the fact that you're getting to see some of the texture of the corrugation showing through. Love it. I'm not going to add a huge amount because I don't want to get it too wet. I don't want to compromise the integrity of the actual tag with it getting it too wet. Okay, so that's the white gesso. This will take about 10 seconds to dry, trust me. 6, I counted. So what I'm also going to do, I'm going to add a little bit of colour just into the background as well. I've got some Deco Art Americana, and this is the Peacock Teal. So I'm just going to use tiny little bit of that just as some colour. If you just heard my phone ting in the background, that was Ian sending me a text. He's working away today. He's in a place called Derby at a museum called the Museum of Making. It's called the Silk Mill. It's one of the oldest, if not the oldest museum in the UK. And he's doing a steampunk show there today. So he's just sent me a text just to let me know how he's getting on. And he seems to be doing all right. So he seems to be happy, which is good. But it also means that because he's away for the day, it means I can play uninterrupted, apart from, obviously, Mr. Bentley. So that one took a little bit longer, about 15 seconds, but there you go. Doesn't take long at all. Right, so that's going to be just the backdrop of my tag. So that's the prompt. So when I'm done, I'm going to stick that onto the back of the tag like so. But for the time being, I'll just pop it to one side. So these are the few bits and pieces that I've got. I've got a couple of sheets of cardstock, one craft cardstock, one white cardstock. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tear some pieces, and we're going to recycle these into our project. I think we'll just whip that off along there, just as a kind of back piece. I'm doing the same thing. And then, do we do craft first and then white? Or do we do white and then craft? I think we'll go white and then craft, because that means we'll go in cardboard, white, craft, so that gives it a little bit of a layer. Not very involved, this one, so it can be done really quickly, there's no great artistry involved in this one, it's just going to be a case of clustering pieces. I've got a ticket as well. Now this is recycled or reused from one of my digi-download sets, which is the birds and the bees. I've got a couple of bits from that left over from a project I did a while ago. I tend to throw them in a stack rather than throw them away if I don't use any of them. So I'm going to add a bit of, just a little bit of grunge. I've had this discussion recently about using the word vintage. Well, this ink is called vintage photo, which basically means it's a sepia colour. And the use of this, some people think that it's to give it a vintage look. To me, these just give it a grungy, dirty look rather than a vintage look, because I think it's darker than actual sepia. Don't think it's a proper kind of sepia colour. Sepia, to me anyway, in my mind, is more of an orangey brown, a bit more like tea dye or rusty hinge. Yeah, like those. What I also want to do is I want to use this. Now this is one of the Tim Holtz photo booth strips, which I've got loads of, but I never seem to use. So it's time to use up rather than reuse. Time to use up. These are printed and laminated. Got like a gloss. You see, like a, well, I'd say a gloss. It's more like a silk laminate on them. So I'm going to use it as it is. Just trim the edges down a little bit. Don't often use photos, or don't often use these kind of photos. It's the kind of the laminate kind of puts me off. I don't particularly like the shine on these kind of projects, and I know I can paint it with clear gesso. I'll just go over it with matte medium, and that gets rid of the shine. But you know, a project like this, I can deal with it. So let's see. I think I took that under there, or do I do it under that side? I like the blue from the bird because it kind of, yeah, kind of like that. Like it. Okay, so before I stick any of those down, I've also got from an old 2020 diary, 2020, the year that never was, which I also want to, I've torn off the bottom part for the calendar for this year. So what I want to do is I want to reuse that, or a part of this. I think we'll use the bit where we've got October, seeing as we're in October, and add that kind of into the background as well. I might slide that just behind there. No, I'm liking it more there. I've also got a map. It's a map of Northern Ireland on one side, and it's the area in which I live in the UK. So on this map, this is obviously the east coast of the UK. So right the way up here, you've got Newcastle upon Tyne, so that's the northeast. Then as you come down, you've got Whitby just there, which is where we do the steampunk shows. That's where Whitby Abbey is. That's where Dracula was supposed to have landed in the story. And when you come all the way down here, you come to a place called Kingston upon Hull. So this place here, right on the water, that's where I was born. And currently, I'm living here, just there. We used to live there, but moved a couple of years ago to about there. So that's where to find us on the map. Historic York is just there. So we're in the Shire of Yorkshire, but we're in South Yorkshire. So I also want to use a piece of that. So what I'm going to do is I want to use the bit where it shows where Barnsley is. Just make it a little bit more personal to me, and we'll use that in the background. Again, let's just add a little bit of dirt. That's it, just around the edges, and then we'll take that off and maybe just slide that. Can we see Barnsley popping through in there? Oh, I'm going to cover it. I may have to turn it, just trim it down a little bit. Okay. So this is the reason why I didn't want to start gluing things down straight away, because I wanted just to play with positioning. And I think I am going to end up losing a bit more of that, just so I can get Barnsley in. There we go. So just position everything sort of how I think it's going to go. On there, and then we want that just to tuck underneath there as well. Like so. That'll do. I think we're ready to start gluing things down now. So what I'm going to do is just use some dry glue rather than wet glue. So this is Elmer's, the fabulous disappearing purple glue. So it doesn't matter if you... I might just take it so it just comes slightly over the edge. Why not? Why not indeedy? Right, and we said about maybe gluing that down about there. That sounded like a puppy dog flapping his ears. Hello, Mr. Bentley. I just opened the door, hang on. He's laid out on the bed. Right, so we can stick Barnsley down about there. I can hear little feet. Hello, sweetie pie. Hello, darling. Oh, he's just walked back out again. It's like, hello, Dad. Bye, Dad. Or should we then put that down and then add... Do you know what? I'm just going to stick it down there. I know it's there. Even if nobody else looking at it does, if anybody ever gets to see it. Let's bring it down. There we go. Okay. So let me just tear that corner off. I didn't grunge it, did I? You didn't tell me. Some friends you are. I don't know. Normally I can hear you shouting through the TV screen, but not today. I must be a bit deaf. A bit mutton, as they say. Right, so we've got our lovely three ladies. Now, I did think about these and thought, shall I try and get one that's got a mixture of male and female, or old and young? I thought, you know what? Yeah, I always tend to put men in stuff, so let's just go with the girls for today. I'm not going to push that down too hard because I know I've got to put the ticket in. We said we'd do it that way, didn't we? And down there. Right, now I can give it a bit of a push. Okay, so I did have this piece, which was a journaling card from the Birds and Bees set, the Digi-Download set, but I don't think I'm going to have space to use it. I've got this other piece here which is like numbers. Not sure where that came from. Possibly it's from one of the Tim Holtz collections. Probably thrift shop or something like that, don't really know, because it's orphaned from its packet. It's one of those ones where you take it out of the packet and it gets lost under something, and then about a year later you find it. So I'm going to put that, just bridging that gap along there. Okay, so we've got the blue in the background, we've got the blue and the brown in the ticket, we've also got the blue showing through from the map as well, so I'm hoping the colours are kind of all ranging together. So again, we've got two Tim Holtz, I can't remember what these were called, chipwords I think. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that one at the word create. I'm going to repurpose the word, and I'm going to take out the heart from there, and then I'm going to cut that into 3. So it now says listen to your art, because you should. So now these chip words again have a laminate on them, so what that enables you to do is to get your distress ink, or as long as you've got a water-based ink, it doesn't have to be distress, as long as it's water-based, if you go around the edge and you think, oh, it's a bit too severe look, just wet your finger and you can blend it onto the surface. So if you think it's gone a bit too strong, just grab your, wet your finger, or if you're a bit squeamish about that kind of thing, cotton bud, Q-tip, there we go. Listen to your art. And then what we can do, put that one there. Now I may have to put something down on top of that just to make it stick, so I'm going over 2 layers. But hopefully I won't. There we go. Look at that. Listen to your art. So hopefully everything's stuck down. Just add a little bit more. So just reactivate it with my finger. Okay, so now we've done that, I'm going to bring back the gesso. Before we do that, my next step, I want to glue my prompt card down so I can refer back to what it was, what I created the tag in response to. And I resisted the temptation this year to do another Halloween project. I thought for October, I decided, no, I've done enough Halloween projects. I said I've done enough. I probably will end up doing a few more, but for this I thought I'd do a non-Halloweeny project for October for a change. The main mission inspiration was Halloween. I haven't done the non-Halloween version yet. I shall probably do that next week or next Saturday. And then, now then, before I stick that down, which way around? I always get this wrong. So, if that's, doesn't matter. Quickly before it dries. So don't forget, these cards are available on the Facebook group. So you can go onto the Facebook group and download all the cards for the year if you want to. They're also going to be on my blog as well. So if you go back onto the previous posts, you'll find I've listed the prompt card on each and every one. Okay, so now we're going to add some splatters, some dirty splatters. Just clean off my fan brush. It's a bit grungy. I did buy a new one, but I don't know what I did with it. I tidied it away. And I've got a spritz bottle full of water somewhere. There we go. So we'll just take some of the gesso, just put it onto the desk, onto the mat, give it a bit of water, and then just lifts it a little. There we go, that'll do. Let's not go mad, get carried away. Surely a wee tiny bit of restraint, which is a common complaint with people doing art journals and stuff. To know when to stop. People, know your limits. Right. And I think, do you know what? I think that I'm going to call that a day. I think that's going to be it. Just dry the gesso off. And I've just had a thought, it's not enough. Yes. Okay, I've got some bubble wrap, so I'm going to repurpose. So this is a piece of small bubble wrap. Now sometimes you get bubble wrap and the bubbles are huge. And they come in all sorts of different sizes. Now this particular bubble wrap is actually quite small. Let me see if I can measure it in. So it's about 2/8, which is really small. 5mm or thereabouts. Which is tiny. Usually they're a lot bigger. Right, so bring back that gesso. And then little brush. Just clean off one of my brushes. Kitchen roll, kitchen towel dry off. That'll do. Right, I'll get some of the gesso and I'm going to paint it onto the bubble wrap. And we're going to recycle it or repurpose it by turning it into a stamp for mark making. And just add a bit more. I'll just put a tiny bit in there. Not quite happy with it down there. Now I am. That's the way, I like it. Right. Okay, so I was going to stop there, but I'm not. Okay, so I think now I just need to add a few more splatters, this time of the darker variety. So I'm going to use dark chocolate. Just a tiny amount. That's not my fan brush. So many paintbrushes with black handles, it's easy to get mixed up. Okay. Teeny tiny bit of water. That's it. I think black would have been too much. And I know I've gone over this lady's face, but while it's still wet, I can just gently remove. There we go. That's it. Again, just a subtle addition, but just enough, I think. And I'm happy with that. Excuse me. Yes, I'm happy with that. So there you go. All I need to do now, is it dry? That'll do. And then all I need to do now is just to add it into the back, no, to the front of my journal, because that was September's, which was dance. So that now needs to go in there for October 21. Love it. Very nice. Happy with that. So I hope you've enjoyed watching me put this art tag together. If you have, please remember to give the video a thumbs up, share the video with your friends, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, then you can do so by clicking the button at the end of the video. And don't forget, if you haven't joined us over on our Mission Inspiration Facebook group, there's a clickable link in the description area below, or if you want to make a note of that URL that's on the screen right now. So that's it from me for now. I will see you all again very, very soon. Bye for now. I'd like to say a huge thank you to all of my angels, because without you, these videos would not be possible. Thank you.